And, this was lesson 7 from chapter 1, the 2 problems that we're gonna grade, and I want you to make sure that you put a box around the word constant rate of change. Then we found constant rate of change by finding y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We also know that k is my constant, which is y over x. And we would write a linear equation by saying y equals k times x. So for number 2, you start by saying x, y. You label those. And I'm going to use points number 1 and then points number 2. So, bless you. Y2 is 36, minus Y1 is 18, over X2 is 4, minus X1 is 2. So what is 36 divided by 18?
Minus 18.
Yeah, what is 36 minus 18?
You said divided.
Oh, sorry. Minus 18. I'm getting ahead of myself. 18. 4 minus 2?
2.
And then 18 divided by 2?
9 over 1.
So you should have it as $9 per
Item. Let's go.
That is all you needed to have. But you needed to show the work.
I put 9.
Put a label with it.
Hold his hands up.
Number 4. The Guzman and Hashimoto families each took a 4-hour road trip. The distances traveled by each family are shown in the table and graph below. Which family averaged fewer miles per hour? I need to underline that. So I'm going to start with the Guzmans. I'm going to say this is X, this is my Y. These are points number 1, these are points number 2. So Y2 is 135, minus Y1 is 90. Over X2 is 3, minus X1 is 2. 135 minus 90
45.
is 45 over 1. So they are 40, oops, I don't know why I put a dollar sign. 45 miles per hour. Then I'm going to pick 2 points. On the number line, I'm going to start with my 0, 0.
Oh,
You could have started with this one right here.
yeah, that's what I did.
This is 0, 0. This one is over 2 up to 120. So these are points 2. These are points number 1. So X2 is 120 minus, or excuse me, Y2 is 120 minus Y1 is 0. Over Y, or X2 is 2 minus
0.
0 again. So then I have 120 over 2. Do that in my calculator and I get
60.
60, and it's 60 miles per hour. So which one had fewer miles?
The Guzmans.
Guzman.
Guzmans, yeah.
So you should have had on the line Guzman's traveled
Road trip.
fewer miles. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn in your book. Those are just a few problems that we needed to go over. And we are going to look at our next lesson, which is slope. And how do we find slope?
Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1.
Very good. So basically, you guys know this lesson, and I'm not going to have to teach a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So next.
I excel.
Okay. But there are some things I need to point out.
Man.
So I'm going to save some time then, and I'm not going to read all the story problems. I'm going to look at this chart. What do I need to fill out? I need to say which one's X and which one's Y. You always on the left would be my X, and on my right is always going to be my I'm on page 73, so this
Oh.
is chapter 1, lesson 8. Everybody needs to get to page 73. Then I wanna put parentheses around it because this is like my points. This would be points number 1. This is coordinates of point number 2. Okay? Down here it says to graph the ordered pairs. Alright, I can do that. Over 3, up 36. Over 3, up 36. It's not exact on the 36, but I can get the 3. Over 5, up to 60. So over 5, 5 is between 4 and 6, up to 60, not quite in the middle. Over 6, up to 72, and we're below the 75. Over 7, and up to 84. Over 12, and up to 144. How about there? I did a terrible job on that dot right there. Get your straight line. And you got a straight line, correct? I know my dot wasn't very good there. But it is a straight line. But this is the word that you need, linear. Linear means a straight line. So explain why the graph is linear.
Goes to the origin.
It is a straight line. And it's not because it goes through the origin. It's it's proportional if it goes through the origin and a straight line.
Yeah.
Linear just basically means line. Can it form a line?
Yes.
So then here it says use 2 points to find the constant rate of change. Put a box around that. So point 1, our coordinates were 3 and 36. Point 2, our coordinates were 5 and 60. So if we want the change in pounds, that would be saying 60 minus 36, which is 24. The change in days, which is so this is y over my x. So this would be 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. Then 24 divided by 2 is right here, so we say that is 12 pounds per day. Here it is, slope it is.
You're off.
No. Slope it is, right? Slope. Slope. How do we find slope? It says change in y over change in x. We're going to rewrite it the way we've been writing it. Slope equals, tell me.
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Okay, make sure we do that. Notice that this says vertical change, horizontal change. Vertical is your y. Now vertical can go up or go down. Horizontal can be left or right, and that's why we've been writing that in our bell work. And I want you to underline anything I underline and box it. In a linear relationship, I'm gonna write the word line above that, because it forms a line. The vertical change, which is the change in y, per unit of horizontal change, which is the change in x, is always the same. This ratio is called the slope of the function. The constant rate of change, underline that. Or unit rate, box the unit rate, is the same as the slope. I better underline same as. Of the related linear relationship. All that is saying is what we've been writing. What does k equal?
Y over x.
Y over x, and k is considered our constant. And then we will write a linear equation. What's our linear equation from this?
Y equals K times X.
Excellent, y equals k times x. See how many times we've been writing this? Do you see how important this is?
Yes.
That's why we write it, get it memorized. Then it says the slope tells us how steep the line is. The vertical change is sometimes called the rise, while the horizontal change is called the run. You can say that slope is rise over run. So let's check this out. The rise goes up how many places? You start at the dot and you go up. 1, 2, 3. Put that in that little box. The rise is 3. Sorry, you cannot see. Then my run is going to the right. Start at the dot. 1, 2. You count your humps. So the run is a 2. So the rise is 3, the run is 2. That 3 means it goes what? What do we add?
Up 3.
So we're gonna write up 3, and the 2 means it goes
Right.
right 2. And if it's slope, do I keep a denominator? Like if it was a 1? Yeah,
Oh,
slope you
yes.
have to have a rise and a run. You have to have a number on, a numerator and a denominator. First example. Says the table below shows the relationship between the number of seconds Y it takes to hear thunder after a lightning strike and the miles X you are from the lightning. Graph the data and find the slope. Explain what the slope represents. Here's our X, here's our Y. It's already labeled for us. If this is X and this is Y, this would be points number 1. This would be points number 2. Same here, point 1 and point 2. So, if you have to, you can rewrite it. Point 1 is 0, 0. Point 2 is 1, 5. Let's just find our slope. Do I have to find the points here? Well, here it is. 0, 0, 1, 5. You're writing in on both the chart and the graph. So I go y2 is 5, minus y1 is 0, over x2 is 1, minus x1 is 0. So then I have 5 over 1. Keep it like that. So it means it goes, what? Up,
Up
5, and then right 1. And let's look at this chart. I went up to 5, right 1. There's my next point. Up to 5, right 1. There's my next point. So you would say for every 5 seconds, a lightning, there is 1 mile between you and the lightning strike. So for every 5 seconds between the lightning and the sound of thunder, it's a mile. Go on. We got it problem. Says to graph the data above or about the plant height for a science fair project, then find the slope of the line. Explain what the slope represents. Okay. So before I go to graph this, I need to label these, which one's X and which one's Y. What's the week? X. What's my Y?
Y. I mean,
The height.
plant height.
The height, right? So now I need, these are my coordinates, 1 comma 1.5, so over 1, up 1.5. 2 comma 3, so over 2, up to 3. comma, 4.5, so over 3, up 4.5. Over 4, up 6. Draw my line. So now I need to find the slope. Can I use the points here or here? Does it matter?
No.
Nope, I'm just gonna look at my chart. So y2 is 3, minus y1 is 1.5, over x2 is 2, minus x1 is 1. And we're gonna write it one more time, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So then what's 3 minus 1.5? 1.5. 2 minus 1? 1. So that means it goes up 1.5 and then right 1. So that what that's saying is it grows 1.5 centimeters per week. This is my explanation. That's all you have to do. Start it over. Ronaldo opened a savings account each week. He deposited $300. Each week he deposits $300. Draw a graph of the time of the account balance versus time. Find the numerical value of the slope and interpret it in words. This is our problems that you guys get confused on. Okay? First, it's $300 per week, right? So let's start with the linear equation. Y equals, it's $300 times my X, which is each week. Then I'm going to set up a chart. On my chart, I'm going to have weeks, and this is my money saved. So, if I save 0 weeks, how much money did I save? $0. In 1 week, how much did I save? How much?
300.
How do you get 300? Go to the equation, right? 300 times 1 is 300. In 2 weeks, 600. In 3 weeks, 900. Okay, so we started with the linear equation. We set up a chart. It is graphed for us, right?
Yep.
So then how do we find the slope? Pick my 2 points. I'm just gonna pick these 2 points right here. This is my X, this is my Y. So Y2 is 300, minus Y1 is 0, over X2 is 1, minus X1 is 0. So I have 300 over 1. So it is $300 per week. Now, remember when I said linear means what? Line. If it's linear, does it have to go through 0, 0?
No.
Okay. If it's proportional, it has to be linear and go through 0, 0, but not on slope. So let's look at this example. Jessica has a balance of $35 on her cell phone account. So does she have something to start with?
Yes.
So we're gonna start Y equals, she's starting with $35. She adds, it's a plus, $10 each week. Each means 2,
Multiply.
so it's plus $10. Now, do I know how many weeks?
X.
X. But now we need to figure this out for the next 4 weeks. So I'm going to draw, I've got X, and I've got Y. If I start, my X is my number of weeks, right? So I'm gonna write weeks here. Y is my money that's on my account. So if I have 0 weeks saved,
35.
how much do I have? $35, cause 10 times 0 is 0, but 35 plus 0 is still 35, so it's not 0, 0. So is this gonna be proportional? No, but it's still gonna be linear. And 1 week, I put 10 times 1 is 10,
70.
10 times 1 is 10, 35 plus 10 is,
45.
so $45 on the first month. Second month, 10 times, and I'll just do it here, 10 times 2, put it in there. 10 times 2 is 20, so 35 plus 20 is 55. Third month, 10 times 3 is 30, 35 plus 30 is 65. So what would be my fourth month? 75. So we need to come over here and graph it. 0, 35. Here's my 0, about here. And about here is 35. 145, over 1 up to 45. 255, over 2 up to 55. 365, over 3 up to 65. 475, over 4 up to 75. What did I create? I created a straight line, but it did not go through 0. So up on the top, I'm gonna write non-proportional. But linear. Because it is a linear equation. So now we have to find the slope. So I'm going to pick 2 points. I'm gonna pick these 2. So y2 is 45, minus y1 is 35, over x2 is 1, minus x1 is 0. So I have 10 over 1. So that means it is $10 per week. That's my linear equation.
45.
Look at the independent practice. You guys need to do number 1, number 3, number 5, and number 7.